Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling start to Tune Up Tuesday. Yes, that day of the week where we look at doing tune-ups on our personal lives and our music, trying new tunes out, or making tweaks and changes to projects that we are currently working on or processes that we have in place. Today is also a little bit of a somber day because it is the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Wow, hard to believe that was 80 years ago. And from the genealogist perspective, it's like, were there any family members, anybody in your family who were at Pearl Harbor or who were deeply affected by what happened at Pearl Harbor? Do you have any family stories about the attack on Pearl Harbor? When you think about what happened, then America wasn't really part of World War II at the time, but that was the pivotal point where the US did actually join World War II. I'm trying to remember all my history stuff that I've read, but there's a lot of it just blows my mind. There's a lot of interesting facts about Pearl Harbor, and I totally forgot to write them down so I could share them with you, but maybe I will have that. Oh, it's Tuesday. We have a family tree answers on Tuesdays. But anyway, going back to Pearl Harbor, there are a lot of incredible effects on that. And I was reading an article about how the military and civilian forces had come together to help identify some of the unidentified remains from Pearl Harbor. And it's been a long project. They've been able to use DNA and dental records. And they've, from the USS Oklahoma, they have only 33 bodies that they have not been able to identify through DNA or through dental records. But they've managed to identify 300 and, what was that number? See, this is why I need to write things down. I think it was 335 that they were able to identify. No, that's not right. It was over 300 they've been able to identify through DNA and dental records in a 6-year-long project. And then there's been 33 they have not been able to identify. And once they've identified the remains, they've gotten in contact with family members and everything and arranged to have the remains returned, and so the family can have closure. So I thought that was, have the remains returned, have the military funeral, and get closure for that family. So, there was a lot of, when you look at footage from that time, and of course it's all in black and white, but still it was intense just watching footage from back in 1941. It was intense. So, take time today to have a moment of silence for those that lost their lives during Pearl Harbor, and then for all of the lives that follow, all the lives that were lost following that, when the US officially entered World War II, because that was a major turning point in World War II. So take time today to take a moment of silence to give thanks for those that were sacrificed, and those that went on to fought for the freedoms that we have today. You may or may not agree with them, you may not, but this did happen. So please take time to honor their memories. That's all I'm asking. It's just going to be a very short call today because I don't have anything to offer apart from that. It is a huge day in history, and it took place 80 years ago, and I can't believe it's like the 80th anniversary. Wow. I remember the different anniversaries along the years and things, and I remember this day because it was on this day that my aunt was born, but not in 1941. But she was born December 7th. So happy birthday to my aunt. And to those of you who have family members who were involved in Pearl Harbor, write their stories. This is why I am so passionate about people telling their stories. Because if you think about it, if you've had family members who have written stories about what happened at Pearl Harbor, if they were there and they survived, what was it like? What did they feel about it? Things like that. Imagine the impact that would have on you today, looking back 80 years ago today, when what your ancestor wrote about or some family member wrote about, and you'd be able to get more of an insight of what it was like for those that were there, those that lost family members. What do you know about the stories of those that were lost on that day? Think about that. These are stories that get passed down from generation to generation. This is what helps keep history alive and makes it personal when you have that personal connection to Pearl Harbour, to events like this. People ask the question today, the most question asked is, oh, where were you on 9/11? Or where were you on the 7th of December, 1941? Do you have any family members who were there, who were at Pearl Harbour, that survived? Do you have any family members who perished that day? Write their stories. Write the stories. So that's it for me for today. I am out of here at 12 noon Mountain Time. We will be having family tree answers today. I'm not going to tell you what the topic is because honestly, I don't know right now. I have a bunch of questions that I go through, and I'm having a couple that are pulling at me. So it's going to go back right now and have a look and see which is pulling at me the hardest. And then that will be the one that I will go with. But I've got a couple. It's like, oh, I could do this, and this with that. And this one over here is pulling me, but yeah, but I could do this, and this. So got a couple of different topics that we could talk about today because you guys ask some really, really good questions. So please, please, please keep the questions coming. I've currently got, like I said, I've got 2 at the moment. Both of them have the same amount of people who have asked the question. And I'm sort of like, And they're both kind of the next step from you've got your information. What do you do with it? You've interviewed. You've got your resources ready. Now what? So that's the next step. But both of these questions are, maybe I'll combine them. I don't know. I'm going to go see. Anyway, go have a super fantastic sparkling day. And if you can take a moment of silence for those that lives were affected in Pearl Harbour on this day 80 years ago, then please do that as well. So we will catch you guys live on YouTube for Family Tree Answers at 12 noon Mountain Time, or back here for Helen's Great Adventures Day 860. Dang. Part 2. So have a super fantastic sparkling day. Hai konera.